Top of the afternoon. Just wrapping up. Pretty busy morning. Didn't bother to get underway this morning. Just did some engine room work. Cleaned up a little bit. Showered. Taking it slow. Figured I'd get another video in. I'm going headed into the Willy Wax tomorrow. And I will probably not have any service for at least tomorrow. I think I run out. Next 40 miles I may not have service. So figured I'd get another video out. Wonderful, wonderful evening last night. Chilly. I actually fired up the wood stove this morning for a little bit. 4 o'clock this morning I was up. Fired up the wood stove and just to take the nip out of the air. Because you know how that freaking propane, I get a propane heater. And, you know, it just gets too much condensation. I got my wood stove over there and trying to figure out how to run this. Yeah, okay. So I got my wood stove over there, and just like everything else on the boat, I broke the door off. You know, she's an older one. She's got some hours on her. We were burning some wood up in Maine last year. A little bit of coal, a little bit of wood. It's a Dickinson stainless wood stove. You know, they don't blow you right out, especially at 10 below. But this morning, a couple pieces of wood, hour or two, took the nip right out of the air, dried everything up. Not that it was moist, but took the nip out of the air, and I had to throw a couple bolts. All I had were 2 long stainless screws for the hinge on the door to open it. So I'll get that tack welded up here, and I'll probably stop in Darien, Georgia, is where that 299 fuel is, and he's got a welding shop there. It's a regular boat yard, not a shipyard, a boat yard, but they got a restaurant there. It's a fish camp, something blah 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 fish camp, twin something fish camp. But he's got the cheaper fuel. He's got a workshop there. He's got a machine shop there. Restaurant. Last time I was there, that restaurant was packed solid. That was towards the end of the start of the vaccine, you know, so people were moving around, and pretty tricky getting into that fuel dock. The fuel dock's like inside the slips, so I wasn't loving that. Tide was ripping, but you get in a spot like that, you just got to give her the power. You can't be scared. Just give her the power and don't crash into anybody, and you'll be good. You know, the guy with the $1 million boat's going to be sweating his scratch, $7,000 scratch in his gel coat. He's going to be sweating you. So that was trying last time. So I got an idea this time. That was my first time in that spot, and just north of Brunswick, Georgia. So from there, the creek's about 3 miles up a creek up there, Altamar Creek, which is right off the Intercoastal Waterway. So coming out of there, boom, you're just about at St. Simons at the bottom there. St. Simons Island, Jekyll Island, and I'll probably stop in Jekyll, I don't know, Monday night. Maybe make it to St. Mary's and stop there, throw the hook. I'm slowing down a little bit. I was going from daylight till dusk, and I learned at the beginning, you got to get on your hook, get situated, and I anchor in a lot of spots that are not designated anchorages, you know, and you got to watch out for spots that are tidal, non-tidal, you know, and tide and current. But this trip here, I've been stopping designated anchorages, a little easier. I get there early in the day, 5 o'clock at the end of the day, so I don't push it till 8 o'clock. Dusk, I think, is around 7:30, 8 o'clock right now. And I've done that before, and it makes things too stressful. There's no need. You're only going to gain another 5, 7, 8, 10 miles. So I stop early and get situated. Have a coffee, you know, button up, put my screens up. Fortunately, not too many bugs. There's a few flies around today. I had everything opened up when I was cleaning, and here they go. You know, they start showing up, flies. More flies this time of the year than anything, you know, not a lot of skeeters or anything like that. So, yeah, from here to my fuel spot is in the willy wax, to say the least. You know, it's but it's nice. Tidal, you catch the tide, you buck the tide, you can't even figure it. I'm going to leave here on a fair tide. I'm pretty much set for that. And that'll take me down to St. Catherine Sound. St. Catherine Sound, I'll be bucking up. If I leave late enough, like 2 hours at the tail end of the outgoing tide, I may be able to catch slack tide and incoming tide going up St. Catherine Sound. So that's the plan, but that's all a joke. My plan is a joke, and I'm on God's plan, and that's what I do. I just pray for the best and prepare for the worst, and it always turns out, here I am, the best. You know, we're still at it, and friggin' loving it. When I get to that spot, the fish camp, to get fuel, I'll do my filters. I'll change my the injector oil is done. Got a few things to do. Deal with the transmission oil. Top that off. Do what I gotta do. Take it slow. No rush to get out of there. You know, spending a couple $300 on fuel, $400 on fuel. He offered to let me stay last time, but I was in a rush. I ordered a hamburger and fries at the restaurant, which I hadn't had order out in quite a while. I kind of not crazy about eating out anymore, you know. Dirty, you know, kitchens and who knows what. So I cook myself a lot. That's how I like to live. But I'll probably get a hamburger there tomorrow. Monday. Yeah, St. Catherine Sound. And then we'll be in Florida by like Tuesday night. We'll be in Fernandina. Maybe just plan on stopping in Fernandina Beach. They got an anchorage right there at the city marina. Amelia Island, or the Fernandina Marina, and I'll hang out there for the night. And that anchorage is right across from the marina, and you really want to catch that incoming tide, and you'll take that all the way down to you know, almost to Mayport, and maybe stop at Sisters Creek in Mayport, Jacksonville is a free dock there. And most cruises stop there. That's a pretty good spot. No access without an Uber to any Publix, Napa's down the road, Home Depot, but it's a freaking, I think it's about 7 miles to Jacksonville or Mayport for any type of shopping, fuel, anything. There is some cheaper fuel spots, less expensive fuel spots coming in Mayport going across the St. Johns River. One of those spots, if you look on Waterway Guide or something like that, is a less expensive fuel. They seem to have gone up. Morning Star owns a few in Georgia and Florida, bought up a lot of the marinas. And then there's another corporation that bought up a dozen marinas in these few states, all the way from Virginia down into Florida. They bought up at least 12 marinas. They were private, privately owned, and they bought them up, and now, you're paying corporate rate fuel. Right now, $3.86 was in South Carolina, in one of their marinas. And I almost got stuck having to grab some fuel there. But I'll usually, if it's like that and they're going to rob me like that, I'll grab 20 gallons of $3.80 fuel or $3.60 fuel just to make it to my $2.99 spot. So that works. It saves money. It's a lot of ramens. $50, $80 is a lot of ramen soups. And that's how we do it here. We fly by the seat of our pants. But you got to save on that fuel, because I burn fuel. That's the thing. Sailboaters are sailboaters, and they can sail. And that's a wonderful thing. But I can't do the sailboat. You're talking on a 36-foot sailboat, 38-foot sailboat, 70 to 80 square foot of living space. And I got twice that here in the trawler. And that's what I love, in my wheelhouse. And I've been going up top a lot. And I put the Bimini back up. It's closed up now. It was blowing the other day, so I closed my Bimini. I shut it down up top, my fly bridge. But when it's hot, it's nice. When it's too hot, you get fried. You become a French fry up there. But when it's cool like this is a beautiful day. Halfway through the day, the afternoon, you go up top. And it's nice. But Doggy, she gets lonely down here, so she still stands at the bottom of the steps, and I never really took her up there. A couple times, but that's a big lug for me now. She's 70 pounds, so it's too much for me now. So I leave her down, but she sits at the freaking bottom of the stairs and waits for me. And I run back and forth. I got to burn coffee. I come down. It's just up and down. It's a lot of work, but it's a great spot up there. And I may do that tomorrow. Tonight I'll open up the Bimini and maybe head up there tomorrow or afternoon. If I steam in the morning, I might just lay to until Monday morning, and then just. All the gas monkeys there won't be much traffic, not much cruises right now, not many cruises right now in the Intercoastal Waterway. Couple sailboats today. I saw a trawler going south. He could have been just a weekender. And so if I wait for Monday, there's not much traffic. These guys, they wake you out in the center consoles. They don't have a clue what they're doing. They know common sense. It's like in the corner and screw you type of deal. It isn't screw you. It's all about us living together and just common courtesy. 16, I call you, I'm going to overtake you. 1 whistle, 2 whistle, port starboard, and I overtake you. And the key to that is you try to get as close as you can to the boat you're overtaking. Letting them know or requesting it from another boat. The yachts, the delivery guys are ruthless. So when they're delivering, they're looking to make time, and they'll just wake you up. But if you just request, please get as close as you can to me, you won't wake me as bad as when you're a boat at 2 lengths away from me and you hit me with a 4-foot wake. Shit starts flying. This trip here, only twice where I've gotten destroyed. Coffee flies, pants fly, stuff like that. Hold on a second. Hey, get the pasta going. I like to cook early because I don't really enjoy my food hot. So room temperature, warm is beautiful. So I'm actually having some red sauce today. I haven't had red sauce. I grew up on Italiano, it was freaking pasta on the boats. The boys made the meat in the afternoon. So if they were making a roast or they were making any type of meats, beef, pork, they do that in the afternoon, the Italian guys. The Goombas made it in the afternoon, and then for the evening, they made pasta. So, like I say, I'm a room temperature type of person. That's what I enjoy. So I'm making it now. By the time, even if I lay down for an hour, get off my hip, by the time I get up, I can just, even if I gotta warm it up a little bit, boom, make a meat sauce today. I got some burger left over, and I'm looking forward to that. This is like second time I had a red sauce. I've been doing a lot of Alfredos. I love the Alfredos, basil Alfredo, scallop. I make it, whatever fish I catch, I put in the Alfredo, and that's off the hook. I freaking love it. And that's what I'll be focusing on. Once I start getting a little further south, I'll start fishing, and you'll freaking love that. I catch. That's what I do. I'm a fisherman. Teach a man to fish. But fishing in these rivers and all that is not my gig. But I did see a guy, he had a freaking red drum next to me. It was, about that big fish. When I was going into the marina to go to Publix yesterday, right at the mouth there. But it's just not my gig. That dirty water that black water is black water. Dark water, I live for that water down the Keys and the Caribbean, where you could see to the bottom. You could see the sharks. You could see the lobsters. You could see the lobster traps. I freaking love that. That's like me in the Northeast. I love the snow. Snowstorms I freaking love. But when it's dark consistently every day and it's cloudy and dark, dude, why? Why? I can't live like that. I need the sunshine. That's the food for the soul. Chasing that rainbow has been key. When I was a kid, that rainbow used to always come up after a storm in the summer. It seemed like it always went to Nantucket. And I was with an old timer who I grew up with, Abba Jabba, Frank Scolafani. And when that rainbow came out and we were on George's, he used to haul back. We got to haul back, Jimmy. Let's go to we got to go to Nantucket Shoals. Because the rainbow's out. You know what? It always paid off. But chasing that rainbow, that's a sign from God. So you chase the rainbow and you'll be all right. You chase that sun. Seek the sun. It's food for the soul. It brings joy. That dark shit is the dark shit. You got to struggle through that. when it's dark at friggin' 5 o'clock up there. It's not dark down there at 5 o'clock. It might be 7, but it's still 2 more hours of daylight and sunshine. So, in my venture down south, the more further south I get, like especially Biscayne Bay, I start fishing steady. You can actually shine the friggin' light at night, like they catch squid. That's how the big boats attract squid to the boat, is they have spotlights and auto jiggers, and they just fire squid on board. But the lights bring them to the boat with a lot of fish. First time I went down Biscayne Bay on a delivery, coming from Tampa, I went through the Okeechobee and down the east side of the Intercoastal Waterway, and we stopped in Biscayne Bay, and I put the light overboard, and oh my God, I was there for 3-4 hours, just watching these different fish coming and going. The squids coming. The squids would come to the edge of the light, but they wouldn't go in the light. They come in it, but they get out, and they stay around the side. Just a trip, you know, and oh, I freaking love it. A blessing from God. That brings me total freaking joy. So once I get into Biscayne Bay, I'll start fishing every day, every minute. I'll have plugs overboard, you know. I'll cast net for bait. But like I said in my last video, I got pinfish traps waiting on me down the Keys. I got a crab trap here, which I tried those crabs in the Chesapeake. It would take you freaking 200 pounds of them to make a pound of meat. You know, there's nothing in them. I imagine they must be nice. Soft shell, I've never had the soft shell fried either. But I imagine those are freaking off the hook. I gotta try that. But friends, acquaintances that I fish with, that I know down there, that I've actually worked on their boats for them, fishermen, some are lobstermen down the Keys, Marathon, down freaking Key West, Almirada, there's a few. I did a freaking a head job, and that guy there owned 2 boats, 2 lobster boats. So I've done a little bit of that, but that's what I'm looking forward to is, you know, I trade with them. I do work, or I'll have fish, and whatever they don't catch, they'll trade me. Like I did in the Boston Fish Pier. When I used to come home, I would trade, every trip I would trade a half a basket of haddock or cod for a loin of swordfish. Fresh sword, you know, whatever it was. Chilean frozen, but I loved swordfish. And I would trade all the time. Or I would trade my lobster guy, the wholesaler, for a bag of cherry stones, a bag of steamers, and on my way out, I'd put them in the lobster tank, get into that clean water coming out of freaking Boston, so you start getting towards Cape Cod and Mass Bay. You get to Cape Cod and the water turns clear. Blue water, dark blue, it's not like down there. And I would run my clams through that for a day. And once I got to the spot the next afternoon, when the boys would lay down, if they could get a nap in the afternoon, I would either have lobsters, quahogs, clams. Then I started getting the minced clams and making clam cakes like my grandmother's fish cakes, only I started making clam cakes like that. Oh, they were off the hook. They're a little chewy, you know. Might take you a minute to get them down. You're chewing like they're freaking, you know, rubber freaking bands, but holy shit were they delicious. And that was always my gig, you know. Teach a man to fish and feed the village and trade with the village and barter. It's the barter system like we do in Maine. A lot of my Maine peeps, a lot of ex-fishermen, a lot of freaking woodsmen, that's what they do. They trade. I got 2 cords of wood for this, a lobster for freaking fish, for scallops, for dirt bikes, snowmobiles, everything's a barter. The currency is the currency, but the barter is the barter. Everybody got to eat. And when you have a passion or you love to eat something, deer meat, same thing. I trade fish for venison a lot. Turkeys, you know. Friends with farms up there. My eggs, you know. right now, I think my son's got 50 chickens. So he's got an abundance of eggs, and you know, he's trading. I actually got him into the freaking, what are they, Katie, oh, there's a duck. I got my son into, the eggs are worth $40 a dozen to these high-end chefs, New York City. $40 a dozen, so they'll take a crate of them, you know. But you gotta blue light, not blue light, but you gotta freaking X-ray the embryos on them. Make sure it's all intact. The big ducky eggs, Katie Campbell's, they're called Katie Campbell ducks. Those eggs are worth $40 a dozen to the freaking high-end chefs, you know. So I got my son into it, but I guess the duckies get a little aggressive, especially with the kids. So don't the turkeys. The turkeys freaking chase the kids around. My oldest granddaughter, she knows how to beat them down. But you gotta watch out for them, especially the toms will hurt the kids. So the turkeys, I don't think he's got many more turkeys. I think he ate them all. He had to put them to use, like in the oven, because they were attacking the kids. But the ducks, they're noisy, and they beat each other up. So now I think he's pretty much straight up chickens. About 50 of them. Steady eggs, and nothing like free range eggs, chickens. So when I get down the Keys, what I usually do is try to pick up a few mahi right on my way into the freaking spot. And then when I get there, I trade. You know? And if you don't have nothing to trade, I give. You know, there's a few old timers down there. They've been on board for years. They're liverboards. Someone shows up with 5 pounds of fish. That's killer. I mean, these things were just jumping on deck friggin' 6 hours ago. That's what my father always loved. At the end of my trips out on George's Bank, Dad loved the big, fat, thick haddock. I do too. I like fat fillets like that. The Italians like the scrod. Everything small, baby stuff is the killer. Scrod, catch of the day. Cod scrod haddock. That's what the Italians like. You know, and you can fry them, you can, whatever, however you like to prepare them is one thing. But Dad liked the big, thick haddock. So I would wait till the last couple toes, and they were just jumping on deck, and boom, I cut them up for Dad, Mom and Dad, and bring them home. My grandmother, she preferred gray sole. My mother actually didn't like the haddock. She liked gray sole too. So Ma Bramante, she liked, I called her up when we first started getting phones, the big phone, you know. Ma, what do you want? She says to me, oh, save me 4-6 dabs, which is a flounder, right? And head and tail head, tail, fin, and scale them. I'm like, Ma, whole fish? She would cook those in the cast iron pan. I remember one day we came back after taking fish out at the fish pier. Me and Uncle Peter went to the house to settle up to meet Auntie Dolores, and Ma cooked those freaking dabs, fried them in the cast iron pan. The cast iron pan was like freaking 200 years old. Who knows? And they were freaking, I'm telling you, we were fighting over the last couple pieces. She'd steak them, whole fish. She'd cook them, burn them, high heat, salt. It had oil in it, the cast iron pan, and holy jeez, that was the best. The seared dab, flounder. My mother was gray sole, which that's the best, the gray sole, but they're real thin, very, very expensive, hard to cut. I could cut them, but not everybody could cut them, so not a lot of people took them, and they're very expensive. I can't even imagine what they are off the boat. A large gray sole must be freaking $10, $8 a pound off the boat. So by the time it gets off the knife, you don't even get 30% out of those. Like a haddock and a cod, you get 30%, 33% they're looking for on a return when you cut it. So $2 off the boat becomes $6 right there. Call it. And go from there. By the time it makes the freaking Publix or Johnny's or freaking fish store, that's $10-12. But it is what it is, you know. You're paying $10 or $8 a pound for hamburger. Those fish come at a huge expense of fuel and men risking their lives to get you into your cod and haddock. So anyways, getting down south, I can't freaking wait. I'm totally excited, but I'm watching this Hurricane Sam. I don't have any updates. I haven't followed it today. I'm going to get an update now and see what's going on with that. It may not even be affecting us. I don't know. But I did hear freaking they keep giving ponds on the Coast Guard weather. So I'll leave you with that. Maybe tomorrow, if I hang out here, I might do a little cast net and see what we can get here. There's shrimp here. There's shrimp in this water. There's brackish water. So it was one spot. I was in Oriental, which is a stop off for the cruises. Boat friendly, free dock, couple free docks. You know, not a lot. There's 4 slips, and then there's another dinghy dock, and they welcome you there. And I was cast netting. I saw this kid cast net, and he was getting 4-6 shrimp every cast. Honkers. So I broke out my cast net. I wasn't doing too good. Then I looked at the cast net. I had a hole. I mended up my hole. That's what I do. That's what I've done all my life. Mending twine, mending nets. We're twine men. Okay? Top of the food chain in the fishing industry is twine men. You look, Peter, he was a twine man. You know, all the disciples, they net fishermen, not trap fishermen. You know, those are the top of the food chain. But that's a whole art of mending twine, and that's what I've done. We'll call twine men. Okay, are you a twine man? You know, and splice rope, splice wire. Everybody splices rope. I'm running into all kinds of characters now. You know, they make a splice. But how many and how fast and how big is the rope and twine men? So my cast net had a hole. You can't have a water letter outer in a net because it lets the fish out too. And those fish, like the herring nets, when the herring seine, you'll get 1,000,000 pounds of herring go out a hole that big. They just funnel like the freaking time glass. The timepiece there, like sand in an hourglass. That's how the herring will go out a hole. So you got to be on top of your holes. So when I saw the hole, I'm like, Cap, you know, when we're on board on the big boats, guys would give it the old, like they're freaking, oh geez, they see a hole and they let it go. We're reeling the net up, or they're setting the net out, and